The entire world has been wiped out by a deadly virus. One guy thinks he is the absolute last man alive on Earth. Desperate to keep the human race from going extinct, he does the unthinkable. He bites the bullet and marries a woman he finds completely annoying and totally unbearable. But right after their wedding ceremony, they are driving down a completely empty road. Out of nowhere, the impossible happens. Bam! Their car violently slams into another vehicle. The guy is absolutely stunned. In a dead, abandoned world, where on earth did a third person come from? He steps out of his car in pure shock. That is when he sees her. A drop-dead gorgeous woman steps out of the other car. She looks exactly like the girl of his wildest dreams. On one side, he has his newlywed wife that he can barely stand. On the other side, a literal dream girl has just appeared out of thin air. There are now exactly 3 people left on the entire planet. For the last man on Earth, the sky has just fallen on his head. What is he supposed to do now with this brand new wife? And seriously, where did this dream girl even come from? Let's dive right into this mind-blowing story. The year is 2020. A terrifying virus sweeps across the globe. In the blink of an eye, everyone around just dies. But for some bizarre reason, a guy named Phil survives. When it finally hits him that he might be the only one left, he decides to look for company. He grabs an RV and hits the road. He drives through all 50 states of America. He hooks up a loudspeaker to his roof and drives around screaming for survivors in 8 different languages. But he finds absolutely no one, not a single soul. Desperate, he starts painting massive highway billboards. He sprays the words "Alive" in Tucson. He just hopes someone, somewhere, will see it and come finding him. After that, he heads back to his hometown and simply waits. Once he's back home, Phil completely goes off the rails. He starts doing whatever the hell he wants. He finds the biggest, most luxurious mansion on the block. He kicks the door in and makes it his own. And you will not believe how he decorates the place. He steals million-dollar masterpieces from museums. He drags in real dinosaur fossils. He even grabs an authentic Oscar statue from some famous actor's house to decorate his living room. He turns his home into a billionaire's playground. He shoots off the glass doors of a local supermarket with a shotgun. He rolls out with shopping carts piled high with junk food. For entertainment, he grabs stacks of uncut action movie DVDs. He drinks $10,000 bottles of vintage red wine, and he pairs it with cheap instant noodles. Every single sip of that wine costs about $400, but Phil doesn't care. He is living like a king, and his playground is massive. Regular bowling just doesn't cut it for him anymore, so he sets up rows of fish aquariums instead of bowling pins. Then he hops into his pickup truck and smashes right through them. As the days roll by, his madness just levels up. He gets so crazy that he eventually uses a full-size car as a bowling ball to smash into other cars. For a whole year, he lives this wild, royal, completely rule-free life. But one day, Phil is flipping through a calendar. He realizes it is his birthday. Suddenly, a massive wave of nostalgia hits him. He remembers the good old days with his family. He misses the warm hugs from his loved ones. The emptiness starts eating him alive from the inside. But he is completely alone. He's forced to sit there and sing happy birthday to himself. The loneliness, the void, and the sheer frustration make his blood boil. He gets so angry that he literally starts screaming and cursing at God. He yells at the top of his lungs, "I can survive perfectly fine all by myself." But that ego trip doesn't last long. Fast forward 5 months, and Phil looks like a homeless beggar. That luxurious royal mansion has turned into a giant garbage dump. The fancy swimming pool where he used to sip wine, he uses that as his personal toilet now. What once felt like absolute paradise has morphed into a never-ending living hell. He becomes so desperately lonely that he starts drawing human faces on sports balls, exactly like in the movie Castaway. He spends his entire day talking to them. He even starts drooling over pictures of elderly women in swimsuit magazines. To him, they look like the most beautiful women in the world. Phil literally has the entire planet to himself, but day by day, he's just getting more miserable. He craves human connection. More than anything, he craves a woman. That is when he remembers a female mannequin he saw in a clothing store window. Desperate for any kind of female company, he smashes the glass and breaks in. He actually starts flirting with the plastic mannequin, but the moment he tries to touch it, the mannequin's arm snaps right off. Just like that, his entire romantic fantasy shatters into pieces. Drowning in depression, Phil decides he cannot take it anymore. He finds a massive rock on the outskirts of town. He paints his name on it. He just wants someone, anyone in the future, to know that a guy named Phil once existed. Then he gets into his car. He floors the gas pedal, speeding right toward the rock to end it all. But just seconds before the crash, he slams on the brakes. He spots something in the distance. A thin trail of smoke is rising into the sky. Smoke means fire, and fire means someone else is alive. Phil spins his car around at lightning speed and races toward the smoke. When he gets there, he actually finds signs of life. The biggest shock of all, he spots women's underwear hanging on a clothesline. Shaking with excitement, he reaches out, grabs it, and takes a deep breath. Yes, that is the unmistakable scent of a woman. Right at that second, a female voice calls out from behind him. Hearing a real woman's voice after a whole year is just too much for Phil. The emotion hits him so hard that he instantly passes out and hits the dirt. When Phil finally opens his eyes, he sees an absolute knockout. A stunning woman with beautiful blue eyes is standing over him. Her face, her figure, everything is exactly like his dream girl. Since they're the last man and woman on Earth, the massive responsibility of saving humanity rests entirely on their shoulders. Phil doesn't waste a single second. He reaches out and pulls him into a deep hug. But suddenly, something feels off. Phil snaps out of his daydream. He realizes the gorgeous girl was entirely in his head. In reality, he's staring at a very quirky, odd-looking woman named Carol. This is it. Carol is the last woman on Earth, and Carol is not happy. She had just saved Phil, only to find him sniffing her underwear and acting like a total creep. Without missing a beat, she pulls a gun and points it right at him. She screams, "Keep your hands where I can see them, and put my stuff down." Mortified, Phil scrambles to defuse the situation. After a lot of smooth talking, he finally convinces Carol that he's not a bad guy. After clearing up the massive misunderstanding, they officially introduce themselves. Phil is the last man. Carol is the last woman. She might not be the supermodel of his dreams, but Phil has to face reality. At least he found a breathing, living human being. What more could he ask for? He honestly thought having a female companion would make his life so much better. But he has no idea he is about to step into his worst nightmare, because Carol is the exact opposite of Phil. The world has literally ended, but Carol still follows every single rule in the book. When she drives down the empty streets, she actually stops at crosswalks, even though there isn't a single pedestrian left on Earth. When she goes to a completely abandoned store, she carefully parks her car exactly within the designated lines. She takes one look at Phil's giant garbage pile of a house, loses her mind, and starts cleaning it herself. Phil's messy lifestyle and total disregard for the rules drive Carol absolutely insane, and Phil cannot stand her obsessive rule following either. He gets so fed up that he literally drives her out of town and abandons her. But Carol is dead serious about saving the human race. She flat out tells Phil that they need to have a physical relationship to repopulate the Earth. Phil is totally repulsed by her. He acts all high and mighty and rejects her offer. Truth be told, Carol is not exactly thrilled about Phil either. But her overwhelming sense of duty keeps her locked onto the idea of having his children. To get him on board, Carol pulls a genius move. She starts teasing him with fresh, juicy tomatoes she grew in her own garden. Phil acts tough. He claims he doesn't want her tomatoes, but his body hasn't had fresh vegetables in over a year. He is craving them like crazy. In the dead of night, he sneaks into Carol's garden. He stuffs his face with tomatoes like a madman. The next morning, Carol interrogates him. Phil shamelessly lies to her face, but the bright red tomato juice dripping all over his beard totally busts him. A few days later, Phil notices Carol limping. She had fallen and hurt her leg pretty badly while trying to haul water from a street drain. Now she has no tomatoes and no water. Totally broken, Carol finally snaps. She starts breaking the rules just like Phil. She even starts using his swimming pool as a toilet. Seeing her completely give up and watching her beloved garden wither away actually breaks Phil's heart. He grabs his tools, heads down to the city water pump, and busts his back fixing the pipelines. He manages to route fresh water straight into Carol's garden. Carol is absolutely thrilled. She is so moved by what he did that she invites him over for a nice homemade dinner. Over dinner, they actually click. The vibe is great. That is when Carol drops the bomb. She says it is finally time to focus on their main mission, repopulating the earth. Hearing this, Phil jumps out of his chair with pure joy. He shouts that he is going to take a shower right this second. But right then, Carol says something that completely shatters his world. She tells him there is absolutely no way they are getting physical before marriage. Phil loses his mind. The entire world is a graveyard, and this woman wants a wedding. He explodes with anger. He screams, "I would rather jump off a roof today and die than marry you." But a few seconds later, reality kicks in. They are literally the only two people left. He swallows his pride. He tells himself it is just a fake, meaningless ceremony. If playing dress-up gets him what he wants, what is the harm? But Carol takes this wedding incredibly seriously. She plans every little detail to perfection. Phil only has one single job: get a wedding ring. But Phil doesn't care at all. He spends the whole day goofing off and playing games. When it is time to exchange rings at the altar, Phil awkwardly admits he didn't bring one. Carol is furious. She looks him dead in the eye and says, "A guy like you deserves to be alone forever." She calls off the wedding and storms out. Later, Phil walks into her house. He sees how beautifully she had decorated the entire place all by herself. Guilt hits him like a truck. He realizes how badly he messed up. He goes to her, apologizes from the bottom of his heart, and takes her to a jewelry store. He smashes the glass case and pulls out a massive handful of rings. They finally tie the knot. They consummate the marriage that night. Though Phil is so out of it, he barely remembers a thing. After the wedding, they actually start getting along. They play racquetball, they go outside and build massive, funny sand castles. It really starts to feel like they might just live out their days in peace. But the honeymoon phase doesn't last. One day, they're cruising together in their car. Out of nowhere, bam! They violently crash into another car. Phil stumbles out, his jaw on the floor. Is there really a third person out there? That is when the door opens. Out steps Melissa, an absolute knockout, a drop-dead gorgeous woman. Phil's eyes practically bulge out of his head. His brain screams, "Oh man, I got married way too soon." There are now exactly 3 people left on Earth. 1 guy, 2 women. By all normal logic, Phil should be the happiest guy alive, but he is absolutely miserable. He just married Carol, a woman he can barely stand, and now, standing right in front of him is Melissa. She is his literal dream girl. And to make matters even worse, Phil quickly realizes Melissa is not just incredibly hot, her personality matches him perfectly. Phil quickly makes a shady decision. Since there is no real love between him and Carol anyway, he is going to secretly romance Melissa. He invites Melissa over for dinner. His master plan is to show off his undeniable masculine charm. After living like a filthy caveman for over a year, he finally decides to shave his giant beard. He thinks going clean-shaven will make him look incredibly handsome, but the moment the women see him, they both agree he looks infinitely worse. During the entire dinner, Phil ignores Carol completely. He spends the whole night aggressively trying to impress Melissa. Things get so bad that later that night, Phil flat out refuses to sleep in the same room as his wife. The next day, Phil hatches another scheme. He knows exactly what time Melissa is coming over. Right before she walks up, he hits the floor, pretending to do an intense workout. He even takes a marker and draws fake 6-pack abs on his stomach just to look ripped. He acts out of breath and tells Melissa, "Hold on a second, let me just finish my set." Then he surprises Melissa with a brand new shiny car to replace the one wrecked in the crash. Carol watches all this and her blood boils. She snaps at him, "You were doing all of this for some other girl, but our own front door has been broken for days and you haven't even touched it." Just to shut Carol up and play the role of the responsible husband, Phil grabs some tools and dramatically fakes fixing the door. Right in the middle of this act, Melissa walks up. She invites both Phil and Carol over to her place for drinks that night. This is exactly the opening Phil has been waiting for. Without telling Carol a single word, he sneaks off and goes to Melissa's house all by himself. His mind is completely in the gutter. After knocking back a few heavy drinks, the alcohol loosens Melissa's tongue. She starts pouring her heart out. She confesses how deeply lonely she has been after a whole year of total isolation. She says she desperately needs a man to love her, to hold her, and to give her warmth. Phil realizes this is his golden ticket. As he listens to her, his fingers slowly start unbuttoning his shirt. But right then, Melissa stops him. She looks at him and says, "I cannot just give myself away like this. Phil, you're a great guy. You're a blessing in my life, but you're a married man. I could never destroy another woman's home." A wicked smirk spreads across Phil's face. He looks at Melissa and says, "Just wait right here. I have to take care of something really important. I will be right back." You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what this creep is doing. He is sprinting straight home to divorce Carol. But Phil rushes to his house, kicks the door open, and freezes in his tracks. The sight in front of him stops his heart. Carol is sitting there, carefully crafting a beautiful handmade flower garland, and right in the center of that garland is a sweet hand-drawn picture of Phil and Carol together. Seeing Carol's pure, innocent love completely melts his cold heart. The word divorce simply cannot leave his mouth. Think about it. There are only 3 human beings left on the entire planet. Society is gone, rules are gone, laws and courts have been wiped from existence, and yet the modern institution of marriage still holds this weird, undeniable power over a man's most primal instincts. And this is exactly where the story reveals its true genius. Just so you know, this incredible story is the plot of the hit TV show, The Last Man on Earth. The series ran for 4 amazing seasons. If you look it up, you will see it rocks a solid 7.4 rating on IMDb and hits around 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audiences absolutely fell in love with this show. As the story moves forward, new characters show up, and the plot gets incredibly deep and hilariously chaotic. If this story made you think, and you feel like the time spent with me today was totally worth it, go ahead and smash that like button. Your like tells me that you want more of these deep, psychological, and realistic stories. Hit that subscribe button because I promise you, you will want to come back for more. That's all for today. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.